Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta, and for the live audience, definitely dealer time. My apologies for that. It still broke my brain last night. The Phillies had two things broke my brain. One was the triple play. The other was Sergei Bobrovsky winning the Stanley Cup. I was kind of hoping that they would choke. I was kind of hoping that the Florida Panthers, for my own mental state, would choke. But they didn't. They got the win. Sergei Bobrovsky is now a Stanley Cup champion, and Drew Holiday has two Larry O'Brien trophies. We're having fun. This is fun. We're all having fun here. We'll get into that. We'll get into some Jalen Hurts hate that was out there yesterday. If you didn't see it, I have a tweet that kind of started things on social media. When I woke up this morning, I saw Jalen Hurts was trending. And this is one of the reasons why. We'll get into that conversation. Of course, we'll get into the Phillies game outside just the triple play. The thing that broke my brain with the triple play is that 95 years ago, and thanks to Jason Stark, who pointed this out on social media, 95 years ago was the last 1-5-3 triple play in baseball. 95 years ago was the last time that happened. And where did it happen? It happened in Detroit. Go figure. Jason Stark put it out there last night saying, according to the invaluable Sabre Triple Play database, this was the first 1-3-5 trifecta in 95 years. First one was between the Tigers and the Red Sox in 1929, July 11th, 1929. The wildest part is, according to Jason Stark, it happened in Detroit. And he just ends the tweet with baseball. I don't know what the hell McKinstry was doing. Could you imagine just for a second? Could you imagine McKinstry being a Philly? Any Philly. Pick a Philly, okay? And he's on third base. He breaks for home after a comebacker is fielded out of the sky, caught out of the sky by the pitcher. He breaks for home, gets tripled off third base, not doubled off, tripled off third base for the triple play. And as he's trotting off the field, he's laughing. Could you imagine the great conflagration that would happen in Philadelphia amongst people such as myself, the sports talkers, people such as us as fans? Could you imagine? He was, I just got tripled off third base. Oh, my God. I was like, that guy is lucky he's not in Philadelphia. And he's also lucky that the Tigers are not a good baseball team. But maybe that's why the Tigers aren't a good baseball team, because it's funny. Wouldn't be funny here. Would not be funny here in Philadelphia. Either way, welcome to the show. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is a little program we like to do called The Farzy Show, and it's brought to you by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Just great to have you guys along for the ride. Yeah, we will get into the Phils tonight. We will get into Bryce Harper, possibly. Technically, it would be his third MVP overall. It would be his second MV3. All right, because when he won the MVP the first time with the Nationals, he unfortunately was wearing number 34, just to get that out of the way on the technicality there. But either way, a third MVP trophy. Yeah, I'd love to see it. Absolutely. However, I would more like to see a World Series trophy parading down Broad Street. If Bryce Harper being in contention for the MVP, if Bryce Harper being a favorite to win the MVP helps the Phillies, and it obviously will, get to another World Series, well, then I'm just fine with that as well. But yeah, that was an incredible game last night. Aaron Nola was sick. Bryce Harper, 5 RBIs in the game. Alec Bohm, 3 RBIs in the game. We have talked many times about the bottom of the order. At times, kind of filling the holes, filling the gaps in terms of some of your bigger name players, the players with the greater expectations. Maybe going through a little bit of a lull from time to time, and then all of a sudden you get a big hit from Christian Pache. You get somebody down there at the bottom of the order like Garrett Stubbs. You get a Braden Marsh going out there and having some production, right? Last night, some of those guys still produced. Christian Pache, I believe, had a hit last night. Garrett Stubbs had 2 hits. He was 2 for 5. You know, Garrett Stubbs is batting like 300 in the last month. How about that? I thought he was just a vibes guy. How about that? You know? That's what. But then when the middle of the order guys, when the real meat of the order is coming up and producing, and you see just also with it, Trey Turner has a 7-game hitting streak now. Nick Castellanos has a 7-game hitting streak now. That's nice as well. But right there in the meat of the order between Harper and Bohm, you get 8 RBIs out of those guys last night in the 8-1 victory. You feel pretty damn good, especially when you jump out to a 4-0 lead in the first inning the way the Phillies did. And you could say this about every single baseball team, and I got into this on the postcast last night, but you could say it about every baseball team. You give them more outs, you give them extra outs, and, that's going to come back and bite you. Yeah, you could say that. But one of the things the Phillies have to do, and one of the things the Phillies have done throughout this season, is if you do give them those extra outs, for example, E6 in the first inning with Kyle Schwarber. He gets on first base. Next thing you know, Trey Turner gets on. Next thing you know, you have Bryce Harper stepped up to the plate with a 2-run single, 2-run double, actually. Good things happen to the Phillies when you give them that extra out. They cash in. That's what sometimes they go through that lull during the season. They're not cashing in on those opportunities. The Phillies of all teams should be cashing in on those opportunities, and they did last night, and it led to a 4-run inning, including the 2 RBIs from Bryce Harper to get things started. Then the 2-run home run from Alec Bohm just over the wall in left field. You got it all going in the game. And then Bohm came up again later in the game and made some more magic with a up and in sinker, I believe it was, and he just roped it down the left field line off the angled wall in foul territory and was able to get another RBI out of that and another double. He's tied for the league right now, league lead in RBIs with 64, and he is tied. Oh no, I'm sorry. Now he's had sole possession of the number 1 spot in doubles, and he had another one last night. So we're having a good day. We're having a very, very good day when it comes to your Philadelphia Phillies. The Braves lost last night. You now move up to 8 games over 500, or excuse me, 8 games above the Braves in the NL East. Things are looking very, very good. So let's jump into this game a little bit more. First off, the triple play. First off was the 4-run first inning, of course, but let's get into the triple play. Aaron Nola in the first inning there got through it, no problem. 14 pitches, couple of strikeouts. Things are looking lovely. Second inning, offense didn't get anything going. Second inning, bottom of the second inning, Canna steps up to the plate. Nola hits him. Okay, weird. Then Perez goes up there. He fouls out. A little bit of a struggle-filled inning here for Nola in terms of a lot of pitches. I think it was 23 pitches, but able to get out of it without getting hurt. Fine, good, great, grand. Even this, Alec Bohm forgetting how many outs there were in the second inning. There was a double play ball hit to him. Bohm picked it, fired to first. Should have been an inning-ending 5-4-3 double play. Instead, it was the second out of the inning, and I got a runner in scoring position. If you're Aaron Nola, gee, thanks, Bohmer. Okay, Raffy? All right. So, Nola goes up there. He's got one more batter he's got to face. They essentially give the Tigers an extra out. Unlike the Phillies, the Tigers did not capitalize on this because just 3 pitches later to Malloy, you had Aaron Nola striking him out. 3 pitches, done and done. Moving to the third inning, Phillies get a leadoff single from David Dahl. Stubbs strikes out looking at a fastball. Schwarber strikes out on a slider. Turner grounds out on a comebacker to Mize. Going to the bottom of that third inning. McKinstry leads off with a single. Kelly, single. Back-to-back singles amount to a runner on first and third with nobody out to start things off against Aaron Nola in the bottom of that third inning. Matt Vierling, of all people, is at the plate. He hits the liner back to Nola, who snags it out of thin air, actually glanced at third base. Why? I don't know. But they got the first out. Probably because he wanted to see if he could double off McKinstry before he doubled off Kelly at first. Fires to first, gets the second out there. McKinstry then, as I mentioned, books it home. Harper sees what's going on. Stubbs sees what's going on. Everyone starts yelling at Bohm to get over to third base. Rabbit, get a third. And Harper's probably yelling that over there to Bohmer. Bohmer then covers third. They fire across the diamond to Bohm. Bang. 1-5-3. 1-3-5 triple play. 1-3-5 triple play. Done. Just like that. The first and third, nobody out. Third inning. Phillies get out of that with the first 1-3-5 triple play in 95 years. Not too bad. After that, it was pretty smooth sailing for your Philadelphia Phillies. Aaron Nola did give up one run last night over 7 innings of work. It made it a 4-1 ball game in the 5th inning. That's when he allowed a 2-out double to McKinstry in the bottom of the 5th. Then Kelly came up with the RBI single, and then he got Veerling to fly out to left field. A 9-pitch inning. A 9-pitch at bat, a 25-pitch inning. That was his most struggle-filled inning for Aaron Nola last night. And it was a great catch, by the way, for Brandon Marsh coming in hot to make that catch. So, like seeing that. Then in the 6th inning, the Phillies gave a little bit more padding. Bryce Harper came up with the 3-run home run. Here's what was so special about that 3-run home run last night from Bryce Harper. He goes down to the count 0-2. He takes 2 sliders, low and away. Forget who was pitching at that time for Holton. Holton was in. He threw 2 sliders, low and away. Harper didn't offer at him. Then he waited. I guess in a 2-2 count, he just figured he wasn't getting a fastball. He waited on a changeup and then just turned on that. Waited the extra downbeat for the changeup, belted it down the right field line for a 3-run home run that gave the Phillies, 3-run home run that gave the Phillies a 7-1 lead, waiting on that changeup. And then Alec Bohm decided to add one more with that RBI down the left field line. It was a 2-1 sinker up and in that he just turned on and brought that down the left field line. The angled wall in foul territory, and he was able to get another double out of that, made it an 8-1 ball game, and then the Phillies were able to close it out after that. And how about this? Michael Mercado just called up, makes his big league debut. I looked it up after the game. During the postcast, we were talking about this. He looks like he's 6'7", 6'8". I don't know if it's just because he's lanky. I don't know. He's only 6'4". I think only. But, yeah, I thought he was a little taller than that. Anyway, he gets his first strikeout, striking out Kelly. Gets a big hook in the dirt. Gets Kelly to offer at it. Strikes him out. They get the zoom in on his dad, his family, and the crowd. Smile from ear to ear from one proud papa. Hell yeah. And then he gets out of the rest of that inning. 1-2-3 inning for him in his major league debut. 15 pitches used. Orion Kerkering came in to handle the business in that 9th inning. Phillies win 8-1, and as I mentioned, 8 games up now on the Atlanta Braves. Couple of things. One, Bryce Harper. I mean, the guy has just been unconscious over his last 5 games. Just absolutely unconscious. What you're seeing from Bryce Harper at an alarming rate is a guy well en route to his 3rd MVP trophy. John Clark actually crunched the numbers last night during the Phillies game, and I had the note of what Harper had done. Excuse me. I don't know where I have that note, but it was over a 5-game stretch for Bryce Harper. I'll just give it to you like this when it comes to Harper's numbers, excuse me. There we go, boys. Over the last 7 days. I say boys, I just mean me. Bryce Harper is hitting 500 over the last week, including last night's game. 4 homers, 10 RBIs, 29 total bases. He struck out just twice in the last week, including last night's game. Now, if only the Phillies had someone who was, also hot batting behind him. Oh my God, wait, they do. 375 from Alec Bohm over that stretch with a 444 on base percentage. I even mentioned Harper. Harper 519 on base percentage, 500 batting average. Batting just after him in those games is Alec Bohm. The two have combined for 6 home runs in the last 7 days and 14 RBIs in the last 7 days. Not too shabby right there. That's a pretty nice punch right there. For those guys in the middle of your order, just being absolutely insanely dominant. Now, when you talk about June numbers overall, here's what's awesome. So Alec Bohm and Bryce Harper, again, leading the way in that category. In this month of June, through 24 days in June, they have combined for 10 home runs. They have combined for 32 RBIs, and both are hitting, 385 for Bryce Harper in the month of June. Alec Bohm. Now, keep in mind also that Bryce Harper has already been a NL Player of the Month. Not too shabby there. Alec Bohm, 329 with a 372 on base percentage. Bryce Harper, 467 on base percentage in this month. You love to see it. Hey, you know what? Harper and Schwarber, for a month that is always known for Kyle Schwarber's dominance, they both have 6 home runs this month. Schwarber's hottest month home run wise is when he hits 7 in April. I mean, he's got to hit at least 8. He's got to hit at least 2 more home runs. He hasn't homered in 5 days, people, and it's still June. What is going on? Why is Kyle Schwarber having this slump? I need him to have his big homer month of June. I need 2 more home runs. 2 more home runs, Schwarbs. Come on, man. But that's what we're looking at. But yeah, Bryce Harper has just been dominating this whole month. You talk about the leader that he is. Talk about his hustle doubles. You see him inside out that one. Or no, he didn't even inside out it. He went with the pitch to left field. It started dribbling into left field. The man busts his ass to get around first to get to second to make sure he got that double. He does that. He goes first to third almost better than anybody in baseball. Like, it's the hustle that he shows on those particular plays is absolutely insane. And you wish everyone had the instinct that Bryce Harper had or has in those instances where he just smells a double. He just knows he can stretch it. And he does more often than not. Sometimes, every once in a while, does he get in trouble? Absolutely. Does he have a brain fart every once in a while like he did, against the Diamondbacks? Trying to think of the game it was. It'll come to me. Where he somehow, some way doesn't get from second to third. Ended up not hurting the Phillies because they didn't do anything else in that inning. Just what you're seeing from Bryce Harper over this last month has been something spectacular. Yeah, it was the 5-4 loss to the Diamondbacks. It was game 1 of the Diamondbacks Friday. But yeah, pretty incredible what you're seeing from him this month. Well on his way. Hope he keeps it going. That's my thoughts on the game. Here's your skipper, Rob Thompson, on last night's game, including the great night from Bohm and Harper.
That's what you kind of expect, but you got to be realistic too. But both him and Bohm had a big night tonight. And, everybody did. What do we have? 15 hits, 17 strikeouts, but we put 210 pitches on them. So we had good at bats all night long, and Nola was great. He commanded the baseball. I thought his curveball was outstanding. Got to see the Mercado kid come in and get his first appearance in the big leagues, and he looked great. He didn't look shy at all. So, and Kirkering is just getting his work in tonight. He had 4 days off. So,
I can see a triple play too.
Yeah, how about that? It's funny because from where we sit, there's a glare on the left field fence wall. So you can't see the ball coming off the bat. So I had no idea where the ball went. And all of a sudden they were throwing it around. And then they came running off the field. So.
I thought he was gonna be like, it must be good coaching. No. That was pretty great. Couple of things from that. If you're a manager and your 3 and 4 hitters have been hitting like this for a month, drink it in. Enjoy every ounce of it. Savor the flavor of it. It's spectacular. It's wonderful. And then second, the triple play. One of those things that we just never think about because we always, especially on a road game, and we all have the wonderful advantage of watching this game on TV. It wasn't like on some app that some people have never heard of. But anyway, you're watching it and you think you have a great angle of it. Imagine being in the dugout and sometimes like, hold on a second, you don't have the benefit of the crow's nest, so to speak, the bird's eye view, if you will. And you look around, you're like, what the hell's going on? Because you can't see because there's a glare in your eyes. I've been to, as I like to call it, Comerica Park. Comerica Park. It's a great ballpark. I really love that ballpark. They have this section behind home plate with like beach chairs, essentially, a little table in between. I don't know how much it costs to sit there, but you're essentially paying for 3 seats, whatever it is, even if you think it's a discount, whatever. But it's awesome. Like, I want to watch a game in there. I think they called the Tiger's Den or something like that. I don't know. But it's a really cool stadium. That's a bit of a design flaw if you're Maybe it's on purpose that your opposing team can't see what the hell's going on the field, so he couldn't see it. Secondly, I'm going to play this again because I can't be certain what song they're listening to in the dugout, and this might get my entire show canceled, but it might be a certain song made by a certain company that makes certain movies geared towards children. There was a mouse that kind of led the charge for this company many years ago. I think this is a song. I can't say it because it'll like kick me off YouTube. It's a song from a children's movie, I think, where the song is in reference to, or excuse me, the movie is in reference to somebody who's freezing. Take a listen. Do you hear
That's
it?
what you kind of expect, but you got to be realistic too. But both him and Bohm had a big night tonight. And, well, everybody did, What do we have? 15 hits, 17 strikeouts, but we put 210 pitches on them, so we had good at bat.
It sounds to me that in the background, I can't call them on it. I'm probably wrong. Maybe. It sounds a little bit like Let It Go. I'm just saying it's all. Just saying. And the Phillies did let it go last night. Not the win. They didn't let a win go. They let it go with talent, baby. They just let it rip in last night's game. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being a father of young children, and that song is just now totally implanted in my head. By the way, I did tell this story last night on the postcast, but for those that missed it, it's worth bringing up again. The Phillies get the triple play. My daughter, Lil Toots, who's 4, about to be 5 in August, she's in the other room, and I said, Emmanuel, get over here. I want you guys see this. Hasn't happened in 95 years. So I show her, and she goes, "They got so many outs." I go, "Yeah, all in one play. That's the thing." And she's like, "They got so many outs." I said, "Yeah." And then she looked me dead in my eyes, and her 2-year-old brother was in the other room, and she goes, "Daddy, Leo pooped on the floor." There you go. Dad life. Just like that. Just like that. It's a special moment. It's a special moment. So anyway, Phillies are going to be back at it tonight, 6:40 start time. Ranger Suarez goes for his 11th win on the season. It feels like he has been stuck on that win forever. In desperate need of Ranger Suarez to make something happen tonight when it comes to getting that 11th win of the season. I was thinking about this last night especially, but let's see here. The last win he picked up was the London game. So he's now gone 2 starts without a victory or a decision. What? He went 6 innings, allowing 1 run on 6 hits against the Padres. So that was cool. Lowered his ERA 2 points. Come on. 2/100th of a point. Come on, you're better than that, Ranger. Anyway, so yeah, 6:40 tonight, Ranger Suarez gets the ball. And we'll see how that one shakes out tonight. Hey, you might have seen it. You might not have seen it. But in case you didn't see it, Jalen Hurts was trending. And I think still might be this morning, as a matter of fact. Jalen Hurts was trending. And this is one of the reasons why. So James Nagel, who works for Fansided, put this out, saying that Joe Burrow's first 51 starts, Joe Burrow getting all the praise and all that stuff, people expecting to have some kind of incredible year and all that stuff. Okay, Joe Burrow's first 51 starts. He puts out the stats right here, so stay with me here. 14,000 yards, 14,580 to be exact. So Joe Burrow, 14,000, let's say, 106 touchdowns, 47 turnovers. Jalen Hurts' first 51 starts, about 14,000 yards, a little over, 107 touchdowns. This is total touchdowns. So it's one more total touchdown than Joe Burrow, and 44 turnovers, 3 turnovers fewer than Joe Burrow. One is a unanimous top 5 quarterback. The other gets hate for no reason other than the fact that he plays for the Eagles. That was out there. This got like 400 retweets. People were talking about it. A lot of comments, as one would expect, comparing the 2 quarterbacks and all that. And look, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to take the side of, yeah, Jalen Hurts gets all the hate in the world. What the hell? No, let's critique this for a second here. How legit are these numbers here? Now, the obvious thing that people will jump to here, most notably, is the fact that the total touchdowns is far different between Joe Burrow through his first 51 starts and Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts' total touchdowns, a lot of them come through the ground game. But you also have to factor in then the turnovers. Joe Burrow still having 47 turnovers, more turnovers than Jalen Hurts is 44 in that span, when Jalen Hurts is actually running with the football. Huh? The fact that Jalen Hurts has only turned it over 44 times compared to 47 times, that is pretty relevant. Pretty relevant right there. So when you talk about fumbles, putting the precious pigskin in peril, certainly happens a lot more with Jalen Hurts, especially when you're talking, oh, this guy can't read a defense. You know what I mean? Well, he hasn't thrown that many interceptions. Now, last year is the exception. You also have to think about 19 of those 44 turnovers are coming in last year's games, and that is no excuse whatsoever. But let's talk about the situation. Joe Burrow eventually got some incredible Pro Bowlers surrounding him. The Jamar Chase, obviously, his LSU target being out there as well. T. Higgins has been pretty fantastic. Tyler Boyd is no slouch as a third option at wide receiver, of course. Now, the offensive line, for me, is the biggest difference between these two quarterbacks. By far, the biggest difference for these two quarterbacks. One, not so great. The other, the best. Now, this is, of course, last year we're talking about here is the last year to grade this. But Jalen Hurts' biggest benefit, I mean, other than Howie Roseman stacking his skilled positions with talent, Jalen Hurts' biggest benefit has been this offensive line. So in thinking about this, woke up this morning, it was one of the first things I saw. I saw Jalen Hurts trending. I went, uh-oh. Whenever I see that, and it's kind of out of nowhere, my first thought is, oh, dear God, no. Yeah, like what happened this offseason? In the 6-week period where you're not supposed to do anything stupid. Turns out I didn't do anything stupid. It was just people talking. People talking. People talk. So my first thought wasn't, let me rush to the defense of Jalen Hurts. My first thought is, okay, why, other than just people being haters and trying to push him aside and say, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. It is because he just plays for the Eagles. No, like if I'm an objective NFL fan, if I play the role of objective NFL fan for a second here, and I'm trying to say, is Jalen Hurts that good, or is Jalen Hurts benefiting from what's around him more so than anybody else? First off, let's talk about what matters most, which is not that. What matters is what you're going to do in the upcoming season. That's what ultimately matters. So the thing I always say about like the greatest player ever versus the best player ever, the greatest player ever, you never use the word if. You only talk about what has happened. Not, well, if he had that, if he was in this different system, if Dan Marino, my opinion, best ever, if Dan Marino had this surrounding him, he'd be the greatest. Make sense? That's kind of how I think of it. I know some people might think that's splitting hairs, but that's the way I like to think of it. The greatest ever, Tom Brady. He's done it more than anybody. He is the greatest. Now, if Patrick Mahomes continues to win, he'll be the greatest ever. Right now, he might be more along the lines of best, more along the lines of that. Still better than Dan Marino, but best. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I put it. And also, you have to think about eras when you're comparing that, which I just did with, and I hate doing it, but with Marino and Mahomes. But to get off that for a second, I'm getting off point. I'm sorry. When it comes to Jalen Hurts, talking about what is, what could be, and all that. When you take in the surrounding talent, the biggest difference has been the offensive line. So that made me go down the rabbit hole of what to expect between Jalen Hurts and Cam Jurgens in this season. Because I have no doubt, this has been my stance on it since Jason Kelce retired. I have no doubt that Cam Jurgens, from just a physical standpoint, can walk onto the football field this year, go through training camp, go through the season, and do a lot of the same things that Jason Kelce did. Is he going to be as great as a surefire Hall of Famer? Probably not. Jason Kelce, let's not forget, had a pretty big learning curve. And it was after that 2016, 2017 season or 2016 season where, don't know what this guy's going to bring to the table. We're not sure. Jason Kelce, the bad snaps, the bad reads, not shifting protection, whatever the case might be. Oh, what's Jason Kelce really got? And then he got to work with Jeff Stoutland and he turned everything around. So let people just brush that aside because they know how Jason Kelce ended his career, which was the best in the game. Hall of Famer certainly could still play today, as we all know. Actually, you know what? I've seen him recently. He slimmed down a little bit. I don't know if he's still got but he's going into retirement body. Okay. But when you look at that, about the talent that Jason Kelce had to harness for himself, to look at Cam Jurgens and say he's immediately going to be that is, let's just say, wildly unfair. When it comes to the other things, like the things that made Jason Kelce special in terms of being able to get down the line or get up the field, get off the line, get up the field, make blocks, for running backs 10 yards in front of them, that's pretty special. I think Cam Jurgens can do something along the lines of that. I think he'll grow into being as good as far as that particular skill goes. But when it comes to the mental aspect of the game, this, I think, will be the biggest learning curve. You're talking about, and this is what you have Cam Jurgens physically trying to have this offensive line not miss a beat, missing Jason Kelce, not missing a beat. Physically, you have that asked of you as Cam Jurgens. That, I think, will be the easier road than the mental aspect of the game. When you're reading coverages with your quarterback, you're shifting protection. You're looking where the blitz is coming from. You're in constant communication with your quarterback before the snap. That, to me, will be the biggest curve, the learning curve for Cam Jurgens. If they're on the same page, if they put in all the work it is going to take this offseason to make sure that week 1, they're as close to perfection as possible, well, then that would be one hell of a sight for sore eyes. If somehow Cam Jurgens, Kellen Moore, Jalen Hurts, Jeff Stoutland, all these guys have them on the same page. If Jason Kelce is truly that lifeline to Cam Jurgens, he's helping Jurgens understand that the little things here that Jalen Hurts likes and Jalen Hurts doesn't like, his tendencies as a quarterback, what those tendencies are going to be now that he's got a different system in place. One thing we can't talk about enough is what that relationship, and we've barely talked about it. The relationship between Jalen Hurts and his center over the last 3 years. We've barely talked about it because we haven't needed to talk about it. We have a guy in Jalen Hurts that for 32 weeks was a MVP candidate, and we had a Hall of Fame center. So it wasn't a concern. Now you have a quarterback coming off a down year where the communication obviously was not great. It seemed like next to no communication at the end of the season. Boatload of turnovers, new offensive coordinator, new center. Oh, and you're also going to have a new right guard. Okay. That's fun as well. So now it's just not communication between Jalen Hurts and the center. It's also communication between the center and his right guard, most likely Tyler Steen. Okay. So when you start thinking about things like this, like when you really try to break it down and look at the numbers here, this is where you can always talk about numbers never lie, but they sure as hell can deceive. Joe Burrow, for me, and Jalen Hurts are very similar in that they both have played in a Super Bowl. They both lost that Super Bowl, but they both played extremely well in that Super Bowl. And Jalen Hurts, obviously, better rating than anyone ever? That's not bad. That's not bad. Or, excuse me, production efficiency rating. Pretty spectacular. So it put me down this rabbit hole. Okay, well, let's forget about for a second just arguing why Jalen Hurts is great and why he gets so much hate, and let's just talk about why he can or how he can dispel haters as this season approaches. And the number one way is just going out there and win, baby. Not turning the football over, obviously. That's the number one thing. And then being on the same page with the center is right there as well. That's what can help get rid of a lot of those turnovers. Speaking of shooting down rumors or dispelling rumors or people just talking all that ish, people being haters. I did catch a little bit of the J.J. Redick LA Lakers press conference. Okay. I know this is a sharp left turn here, but stay with me. I get the feeling from J.J. Redick. For me, first off, he's I just look at him and I just think a poster child for Duke. I just think he's just so Duke. Okay. I was a fan of J.J. Redick when he was here. He has one of my favorite quotes about Joel Embiid, about just how much of a drama queen Joel Embiid is. It's hilarious. And I say that respectfully. I love Joel Embiid, but I liked him on ESPN, the rare occasions I caught him. I think he really knows the game inside and out. None of that means you're going to be a good coach. What he had to say in his press conference, he said, I think, all the right things. All the right things. I didn't catch a glimpse or a sense, rather, of kind of him showing off or just trying to say the right thing. I think this is what people want me to say, so I'm going to say it. And I absolutely loved what he had to say when he was asked the question. I loved a couple of things about it. When he was asked the question that has gone viral about what a lot of the naysayers are saying, the haters are saying, the doubters, The question was from a reporter out there in LA, what are you looking forward to the most? Of all the things you've heard, what are you looking forward to dispelling the most from people that are doubting your abilities? First thing I loved is that he acknowledged that it's a legitimate question. Because in this day and age, it could easily go down the rabbit hole, and this is where I'll get on my my high horse of defending the media. But in this day and age, people will ask the question that everyone's already talking about, and then that person will get shot down when the subject of the press conference goes, I'm not going to give him any more attention. I'm not answering that. And they just brush it off. And then people are like, oh, how dare you ask that question? It's a totally legitimate question. I love that JJ Redick said, I get it. I hear your question. It's legit. But I don't give a bleep. I don't give a what. And he said it twice during the answer. And let's just put it this way. Let's just imagine for a second that we're Lakers fans. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's just imagine that we're Lakers fans. Here, let me put it to you better. Let's imagine that JJ Redick's coaching the Sixers. He just got the gig, right? Let's say he was hired after, I don't know, Brett Brown or Doc Rivers. And we hear him say that. That's exactly what you want to hear. Because you don't want him being like, no, I'm going to prove everybody wrong. No, I want you to coach my team. And the way he answered the question about how it's all about winning championships and maximizing his players' careers. That's pretty special. I'm sure playing for Coach K at Duke was a benefit for different coaching strategies and all that. I'm sure he's going to take a little bit from a lot of his coaches, one of them not being Doc Rivers. He's probably taking more from Brett Brown than he's taking from Doc Rivers, in all honesty. And he's certainly played with a lot of talent. And as a basketball player, as an NBA player is what I'm searching for, 14 years straight to start off his career making the playoffs. Not too bad. I wish him luck. I know I'm not rooting against him. I know a lot of people look at the fact of he's never been a coach. Okay. Everyone needs their first gig. I wish him well. I hope he loses many championships in the finals there to the Sixers. To put it like that. Sixers got to get there first. By the way, NBA draft's Thursday. That'll be fun. We'll sink our teeth into some guests a little bit later in the week. By the way, here's the stat. Before I get to the chat check, here's the stat I was looking for when it came to Bryce Harper. This is from John Clark. 4 homers, 10 RBIs over his last 5 games. Now batting .342 over the last month. Leads the Phillies with 19 home runs. Not too shabby for your boy. One more thing I wanted to do before I got to our sponsors and chat check. Looking out over Major League Baseball right now. Beep, bop, bop. Alec Bohm, now tied for 3rd. I think I said 4th. Alec Bohm is tied for 3rd with 64 RBIs. It's him, Marcell Ozuna, Jose Ramirez, Aaron Judge, and all of Major League Baseball being tied for 3rd with 64 RBIs on the season. In terms of home runs, Bryce Harper is one out of being in the top 5. Anthony Santander, well, if it wasn't for the Phillies, wouldn't be up there. Whatever. He's got 20. Harper's got 19. Kyle Tucker's got 19. Giancarlo Stanton has 18. Aaron Judge leads the way with 28. Gunnar Henderson has 24. Not too shabby. Oh, boy. And then Rangers getting the ball today still leads Major League Baseball, tied for a three-way tie in baseball with 10 wins. Jeez, this is awesome. The fact that these aren't scattered among your bullpen is pretty incredible. Tied for first in wins, Ranger Suarez, then Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola. They each have a share of the. I guess they have the second most wins in baseball, tied. and then unfortunately you got to go down a ways before you find your boy Christopher Sanchez. It's been a fun season. Let me tell you about the Game Time app, ladies and gentlemen. You have the Game Time app. Have you downloaded it to your phone? You want to go to the game? Want to go to a concert? Want to go to the comedy show? Download the Game Time app to your phone. Let yourself have that great time. You want to go to the Phillies when they're back in town? Oh, boy, you're going to miss out on the action if you don't. Phillies, when they're back in town, they got some great opponents coming up before the All-Star break, obviously. Breaking things down when they go to Chicago. They go to Atlanta. And then July 9th, 10th, and 11th, they host Shohei Ohtani and the LA Dodgers before a 3-game set against the Oakland A's. The A's are back in Philadelphia. You want to go to some of those games there? Game Time app. Download the Game Time app to your phone. Or maybe you just want more of a guarantee of a win. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Coming up this weekend. After they get back from Detroit, they got Thursday, Miami, when they open up a 4-game series in South Philadelphia against the Marlins. Cross your fingers for some easy wins right there. Do exactly what you're supposed to do in that series. Win it. 4-game series. Then they go to Chicago. They go to Atlanta. Before coming back, they got the Cubbies, Atlanta, and the Dodgers over a 9-game stretch in the beginning of July. So they start off with a bang, hopefully, in that month. But you want to go to those games? Want to go to any of those games? Game Time app is where it's at. Download the Game Time app to your phone to create an account. Use promo code Farzy and get $20 off your first purchase. Just when you use promo code Farzy on the Game Time app. You can view the seat before you buy it. They have a great panoramic view from where the seat is, so you know exactly what you're getting. They got all-in pricing, so there's no sticker shock. At the end there. How these $30 tickets become $40? What the hell is that about? Not on the Game Time app, baby. You know exactly what you're getting. You know how much you're spending as well. Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about MyBookie? MyBookie.ag. Download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. How about our good friends over there at PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. And how about our friends at Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Check out the incredible, amazing inventory Brett has to offer at SkyMotorcars.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how wonderful people are doing this fine Tuesday morning. I had a really busy weekend. It feels like it's Friday already in my mind, and I got to keep on reminding myself it's not. You know that feeling? It's terrible. Sean Kilrain, good morning. First triple play since 1929. Hell yeah. IBH, good morning. James Alexander, good morning. That was a complete game last night. Everybody chipped in. Absolutely. Babs, Farzy, why do you seem surprised that the Phillies are dominating these awful teams? I'm not surprised. I am basking in it. I take nothing for granted, Babs. Nothing for granted. We have seen collapses in more than just baseball, whether it's the 64 collapse of the Phillies or whether it's the collapse of the Eagles, the collapse of 2023, the Birds collapse of 2023. I don't take anything for granted. I'm enjoying everything. Babs, that's fun. Good for you to expect it. I love your optimism. But I can't help but think, even in the first inning when the Phillies are putting up 4 runs, that there's that voice in the back of my head. Chico Ruiz. You know what I mean? I wasn't even alive in 1964. Spoiler. I wasn't alive in 1964. But, that doesn't mean that I haven't read the stories. That doesn't mean I haven't, talked to my elders. I remember when Chico Ruiz stole home. Whoa. That's a lot going on. I think I know what you got here. Hold on a second. I saw this on was it NBC that had it the other day? Yeah, it was last night. They used this last night during the broadcast. Through 77 games of 2011 with the 4 aces versus the first 77 games of the 2024 season, Phillies top pitchers Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, and Sanchez. 61 starts for the current Phils, 60 for the Four Aces. 32-11 for the current Phillies, 30-17 for the Four Aces. ERA, 277 by the Four Aces, 277 to 268 of the current Phillies rotation. Strikeouts over 9, 817, 8.17 for the Four Aces, 8.67 for the current Phils. Strikeouts to walks, current Phillies better. Complete games, 2 this year, 8 through 77 games with that roster. Not too shabby. I think that's what you were getting at right there. Yeah, I think that's it, Sean. Yeah, they had 15 strikeouts. Excuse me, 15 hits and 17 strikeouts last night in a non-extra inning game. Third team since 1901. Again, we're going back to 1901, folks. Twiz, what's going on? April! What a game. Phillies are cooking. Hells yeah. Buddy Christ. Morning, everyone. 17 strikeouts in Detroit still 17 strikeouts in Detroit still loses by 7. Buddy Christ. Let me get an espresso, Farzy. So I don't know if you guys are like me, but I'm going to give you, I love this sound. Oh my God. I know I've said it before on the show, but this sound of the espresso cup and the saucer, right? I love that. I didn't finish that from earlier. But if you guys are like me, then you have, I know it's very common for like 17 water glasses on your nightstand or in your home office or studio. In my case, you pile up your cups. By the way, Italy in the Euro, way to go against Croatia, getting that goal in stoppage time. Hey, about the bay. Okay, pretty great. Thank you, buddy Christ. Joe Whip, what's going on? Loved what I saw from Mercado. Good movement, throw strikes so far, and so far so good. So far better than Gregory Soto. Shulker, my friend's buddy was at last night's game, sitting directly behind home plate, guy in the red hat. If you were watching, oh, that's so cool. Oh, awesome. Do you know him, or do you just know him? Sean, I have to ask, have you met him? Or or did your buddy just tell you, oh, that's my buddy behind the, because I have had people sit behind home plate that I know personally. It is so distracting. I don't know why. I have the attention span of a gnat. So I always my buddy's dad, one of my best friends from growing up, his dad was sitting behind home plate. I just was like, that's Mr. Brennan. I can't stop staring at Mr. Brennan behind home plate. Joe Wechter, morning show producer, once sat behind there with Jonesy, with Keith Jones. And I swear every fly ball Wechter thought was a home run because you just saw him go like this. The entire time. It's very distracting. Jason, or maybe that's just because I'm an idiot. Jason, so proud of our Phillies. Hopefully we can win the division this year. I hope so too. Thank you, Jason. I got you. Twiz, what's popping? Yeah, I remember that Brian Snicker guy that we talked about? Remember that guy? Remember that? When we were like, he played. Do I still have the clip? I probably still have the clip. Brian Snicker, 2 weeks ago. Oh, here we go. Okay. 2 weeks ago, Brian Snicker said that he's not thinking about the division. Or excuse me, he's not thinking about the wild card. Don't you put the wild card on me. Here he is.
I'm not planning on doing a wild card series. We're planning on winning the East.
Okay. 8 games back now. 8 games back. You know, it showed some signs of life there. 8 games back now. 8 of them. 8 of them. You know, Babs, you like how I'm cocky now? Now I'm cocky. Now I'm up. Now I'm feeling it. Babs, Joe Burrow doesn't hold the ball forever with protection and look to run himself. Very true. Bengals offensive line has been a complete joke. Yep. Taking Burrow all day, this offense would be ridiculous. Joe Burrow plays behind a really bad offensive line. Don't forget that. Exactly. Jay say NBA free agency soon. It's getting nerve-wracking. I am still in the school of give me like 4 really good play. I would not mind at all if the Sixers' best acquisition, like assuming they hold on to Kelly Oubre, the Sixers' best acquisition of the offseason is a really good backup center. That's what I'm crossing my fingers for. Babs, what's going on? Farzy, at some point, Hurts has to learn to read a defense himself and not depend on others for that. Yeah. Look, the idea of him building in the excuse, 95% new offense, the idea of him doing that is obviously bad. I would rather him not, if that's truly what's happening. There were obviously a lot of things similar between Steichen and Brian Johnson, with the exception of the play calls. The majority of them, I'll say. But it's still the same system. And that's what I'm arguing here. I'm not arguing result, where you can talk more about play calling. I'm arguing overall system. So now you're stepping away from that. You're going into something very new. And not only does he have to know the system inside and out, but now he also, after that, has to break down what the defense is doing in front of him. This might be crude, but I've said this before. I don't care. Jalen Hurts is the franchise quarterback of this team. Jalen Hurts had a not so great year last year. Jalen Hurts has stacked talent around him. Well, Howie Roseman has stacked the talent around Jalen Hurts. I don't hear anything. I don't hear any excuse. If Cam Jurgens is a good center, not great, not Hall of Famer in the making, just good center. If he's good at his job, if Tyler Steen is just good at his job, not god-awful, there are zero excuses. Well, it's a 95% new offense. I don't know what I'm doing. That was my spot-on Jalen Hurts impression. That's not an excuse. There's no excuses. You have another year of full experience under your belt as a starter. There's no excuses. Well, there's a different scheme. I don't care. The center is only good. Oh, he's good? Then be better. I don't hear any of that. This is a year the Eagles, they have to make it back to the Super Bowl with this offense. God, if their defense is terrible, but this is an offense that is poised for a Super Bowl. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Well, there's going to be some learning curves with Kellen Moore. I don't care. Get over them. If there's going to be some bumps in the road, smooth it out. That's why you got the talent. That's why you got somebody with experience. Well, it's going to take a year to really understand. Then that's too long. I don't give a damn. I will make you this promise right now on June 25th. To Babs, everybody in the chat, I will make this promise right now. If the Eagles suck this year, if Jalen Hurts is terrible this year, we're going to light a fire. We're going to light a fire. I'll even give you like this. If they're average, I'm going to light a fire. Buddy cries, Leo poop on the floor. Yeah, he did, man. That Harper guy might be good one day. Daz, yeah, how about that? Ozuna is having himself an incredible year as far as a MVP candidate. Yeah. Rhonda B. Sam Cassell should have been the next coach. He put in the work. Yeah, Sam Cassell. He did. They like that. They like that JJ Redick guy. It's all about fit, as they say. Man, if only Walker could pitch. Yeah, that'd be true. This would be the best pitching staff I've ever seen. Well, imagine this. Imagine Spencer Turnbull is not ever put in the bullpen. Oh, Crawley. You're talking about Taiwan Walker? Yeah. K. Robinson, are you concerned about the top MLB teams exit the playoffs early each year? No, and I have had this thought, and I'll tell you why I'm not concerned about it. Because the Phillies still have, like, for instance, Rhys Hoskins wasn't playing last year, but you still have the same core that in the last 2 years have won the wild card and gone into the playoffs and exceeded expectations for a wild card team. So I think the Phillies could win 110 games this year, and they'll still have that same chip on their shoulder of we haven't done anything yet. So, like the Braves, they won the division. Obviously, they went on to win the World Series. I don't look at them different when they win the East, or if they're a wild card team. You still got to beat them. But I think the Phillies have the mindset over the last 2 years. They're used to the mindset of going into the playoffs as that more or less underdog team. So I think that will help them still have a chip on their shoulder and play with a little bit of an edge. And I only bring that up because I think it'll help them stay focused on the task at hand, the eye on the prize type thing. I think it'll still help them. It will still help them in this postseason. So because they have been that underdog, I don't think that winning 110 games, let's say, I don't think that's going to make them go, all right, well, we can relax, because they know, especially after last year, the way it ended, still having that terrible taste in their mouths. If you're going to overcome a, I don't know, a jinx, whatever, of being a best team in baseball, being best team in the league, near wire to wire first place team, if you're going to overcome that, one of the ways to do that is to remember that last year sucked because of the way it ended. Oh, thank God the Panthers finished the choke job. Not so high. Good for Sergei Bobrovsky. What year was what year did they get rid of Sergei Bobrovsky? That's one thing I wanted to look up. By the way, guy's making jokes in English now. Good for him. When he was at the Flyers, this is so long ago, I know I've referenced before, man needed an interpreter. Not knocking it, I'm just acknowledging it. So he's come a long way in that regard. Sergei Bobrovsky. Oh, yeah, that was a long time ago. That was 2012 he got traded. 2012. And then what was the first year of the process? Was that 2016? Okay. Yeah. Wow. So within a year, the Flyers and the Sixers made two huge decisions. The Flyers made a decision to sign Ilya Brizgalov to a mega huge Kajunga deal, thinking he was going to be the cornerstone goalie of this franchise. The Sixers traded Drew Holiday in an effort to build a perennial championship contender. Now Sergei Bobrovsky has a Stanley Cup championship, and Drew Holiday has 2 Larry O'Brien trophies. 2012, not a good year. 2012, 2013, not a good year. Ask Barb about Schwarber. What? Why? Babs, you not a Kyle Schwarber fan? What's going on there? Bruce still hurts. Oh, boy. No, come on. No fighting in the chat. We're all friends here. Went out like damn chumps, says Bruce Banner. Damn right. Bruce, I think I've told you this before. Your underdog mask over a bald eagle is one of the greatest pieces of art I've ever seen in my life, and it should be in the Louvre. That's all I got to say. The Braves a first round exit. Last year they were a first round exit, and the year before that, thanks to the Phillies. But I'm talking about the year they won the World Series. Like they've done it. They've been a number one team, or at least won the division, and then went on and won the World Series. But yeah, the Phillies, I don't think they'll play down to their opponents in the postseason. Wait, what is this question, Faxi? What are you saying here? How many of these middling teams would be over 500 if the Phillies didn't win series against them? Fair enough. I'm roasting my own these days. That's hilarious. K. Robinson, what I'm saying is the Phillies will still have some of that scrappiness about them. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so Sean didn't know the guy behind home plate, but it was he drove up to Detroit for the room. No, it's my friend's boy. Never met him. He drove up to Detroit. They were roommates at Penn State. Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. IBH, respectfully, Farzi, if the Eagles suck this year, I'm tuning out. Oh, come on, IBH. I'll make it fun. No, I won't. That's impossible. I'm happy for Bob, says Babs. That's great. Wait. Hurts is incompetent. Nobody's saying Hurts is incompetent. I'm saying if you have this bad year, then maybe incompetent. But I'm still on the Hurts bandwagon. I love Jalen Hurts. I want Jalen Hurts to be the quarterback here for the next 15 years. Love his mindset, love the mentality, love the skill. Think he will get better. Think he'll bounce back. I have a very optimistic, legitimately optimistic point of view of Jalen Hurts in the upcoming season. I'm just saying if. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful, as per usual. Let's get to the morning rush. Brought to by Sky Motor Cars. SkyMotorcars.com. Wrong button. Here's what you got. Phillies action tonight. Rangers Suarez on the hill against Skubal-Dubadil. Tariq Skubal, 6'3", 27 years old, left-handed pitcher, lefty-lefty matchup tonight. He's 8-3 in the season with a 2.50 ERA. What? Yeah, but he hasn't been so great in his last couple of starts, allowing 4 earned runs, 10 in total. 9 in total. Giving up 13 hits over his last 10 and a third innings of work, allowing 3 walks, 3 home runs, and striking out just 9 in those 2 games. So that's who the Phillies got on the mound tonight that they'll be facing. I wonder if Bryson Stott will actually be in the lineup tonight. Got a hit last night. Love to see it. And yeah, of course, Ranger Suarez will be going for his 11th win of the season. He's 10-1 with a 1.75 ERA. That's only the best ERA in baseball. He is coming off a 6-inning 1-run performance on 6 hits against the San Diego Padres. And unfortunately, what was a losing effort for your Philadelphia Phillies ball club. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll be on with you guys again tonight on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. So make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Farzy Show YouTube channel. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Jacob Media YouTube channel. And make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, where yours truly brings you your postcasts each and every Phillies game. So I'll catch you guys on there tonight after hopefully another Phillies victory. Let's keep it on. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. See you tonight. Bye.